What's up, y'all? Every time my song comes on, I get so excited because it's such a great beat. And actually, my son created that. He's 94, the genius, and he created this amazing beat for me. Every time I say to him, hey, I want to do a show and I want something that's upbeat but fun, and it has a little guitar in it and stuff. It's a little Latino, and then he created that beat, and I freaking love it. He even just enhanced it. So I'll be putting up that soon. But anyway, hi guys, this is Neena Perez. I am here on WINJECT TV, and this is presented by WINJECT Studios. And I am from Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am so glad you're here. I come on every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I've been having such a great time. And the one thing that I've had a lot of that has been absolutely amazing, what's that? And the one on Win-Win Effect. Yeah. And his music is in WINJECT. It sure is. 94 the Genius is amazing. And he's working with all these really great artists. And his mind is insane. That's why he's called 94 the Genius, because he really, like, the way his mind works on beats and putting things together, it just blows me away. Not because he's my son, but literally because I see this amazingness happen in his brain. Yeah, follow him at 94 the Genius on IG. So 94 the Genius, absolutely. His music is freaking fire. And if you're somebody who's an artist and you're looking to like really step up your game when it comes to engineering and your beats and all of that, that is the dude you want to see, for real, for real. I'm not kidding. So at IG, it's at 94 the Genius. All right. So I'm here on WINJECT every Monday at 11 a.m. And you know what? I think if I'm right, this is my 43rd episode. Can you freaking believe that? Chris asked me to be on here 43 plus weeks ago. And I've been coming on every Monday as much as I can. There's a few of them from holidays and stuff are not feeling well, but for most part, you will find me here on Mondays. And so I freaking love that. So let's pop that up. There it is. WINJECT.com/courses/94 the Genius. Anyway, he's amazing. So make sure that you guys get on there and check it out, because you can join 94 the Genius. You can, but you can join WINJECT.com/register, and it's free. And you go on there and you join the community, and you will have the opportunity to navigate everything that we have on there. We have an app that's coming, exclusive content. We have a bunch of podcasters and creators on there, and it is really freaking, I mean, like, really awesome. And I love what they're doing with the website. So every time I'm on there, I'm discovering all of these new things. And what I do on WINJECT is I make sure that I go on as much as I can. I comment on people's things. I try to speak in my community, things like that. I have a few videos coming out. I'm waiting for my video guy to edit all of them so I can get them up. And I also want to start doing like a weekly live call so that we can chit chat with one another. So make sure you go on to WINJECT.com/register so you can become part of that community, for real, for real. And if you're like a podcaster or a creator of some sort, go on there and check out what they can do for you, because it is quite phenomenal. My numbers have gone up by 300%. And people are really, really noticing the change in my brand and how clean and streamlined it is. So I am super grateful to Chris and to WINJECT.com, because it is freaking awesome. So this week I was, I'm thinking about a lot of things in my life, and things that I want to create, and things I want to change, and things I want to accomplish. And I realized that, there are a lot of fears when it comes to change. And since I'm dealing or talking to a lot of women entrepreneurs and leaders, I'm realizing that the fear of change or new things is a real thing. Like, it really starts to affect you in your life and the choices that you're making, right? Because change is not going to wait for you. It's going to come whether you want it to or not, right? And when change comes, we are the ones that have to make that choice of whether or not it is going to paralyze us, or if we're going to use it as a springboard to move forward in our lives, right? Because our feelings is what we add to it, right? The change is coming one way or another. Change is coming into your life, whether it's a new job, a new career, something you're creating, moving to a new town, whatever it is, change is coming, right? And what feeling are you going to add to it? is really what is going to dictate how far you're going to go, right? Because fear literally is the number one thing that we naturally want to avoid in our lives. And it is, excuse me, it is essential that our brain does that because it's trying to protect us and stop us, right? It's saying, oh, wait, danger, danger, I'm going to stop you, right? And it's supposed to do that. Our brain is supposed to do that so that we can have, it could stop us from being, hurt in our life, right? The problem is that we simply react to the feeling of fear and we don't analyze what's going on here. What are we actually afraid of, right? And sorry, we don't stop to analyze and understand that we are, why are we feeling this way, right? Whether or not what we're feeling is actually a truth. Is it a universal truth? Or are we just feeling this way because maybe our map is messed up from where we've, come from, right? Because it's an emotional response, right? So when we perceive that there's a threat against us in some way, we start to have some fear. Change is one of them, right? So this concept of you having to do something different, a new relationship, moving to a new place, dealing with a new partner in your life, or creating this new business, whatever that is, there is an emotional response that starts to happen. And it sometimes we could just sit there and actually be afraid just because, right? And not sit and analyze, why are we afraid actually? And is there a reason to be afraid, right? So when I was taking my neurolinguistic programming master certification, I remember learning about fear, and that it comes from a brain, a part of our brain called the amygdala, right? And that this spreads out through our entire body, and that the process has been a part of our human nature, right? Since the beginning of mankind, of course. It's a natural response. Back then, it was because of lions and tigers and bears, right? I mean, now we're feeling this danger with judgment or things like that, right? So this fear is not, sometimes we are feeling this fear that is not even real danger. It's simply manifestation of stories that we've told ourselves throughout our lives to keep us safe from having to feel this fear. But these stories are not always true, right? Fear has been said to be false evidence appearing real. And the way I like to say it, when I have an opportunity to face fear, when I'm trying to move forward, is I face and eliminate all restrictions, right? So fear can be looking at things and thinking about something and assuming that it's dangerous without any facts to back it up. So we start to become afraid to be on TV, start to become afraid to be a creator. We start to become afraid of having a business. We start to become afraid of getting into another relationship because the last one was so horrible. And all of these things happen, and this feeling of fear comes in, and you're thinking it's here to alert you, right? Alert you, oh no, we're afraid, let's not do that. But it's actually a fear factor that comes in to alert you to be aware of your surroundings, to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones. That's what real fear is supposed to be, right? People who genuinely do not feel fear at all, like people who say to you, I don't feel any fear ever in my life. Well, I have to tell you, they're lying, right? So they're either lying or they're sociopaths, right? Because people with that antisocial personality disorder are the only ones that feel no fear. That's not a real thing. Everybody feels fear. So stop thinking that there's something wrong with you if you come against the feeling of fear, because fear can change, right? Or fear of change or fear of something new is completely normal. It is normal. And stop trying to act like you're a freaking Superman or Superwoman and that you got to beat your chest that you ain't afraid of anything. Yes, you are. Everybody is, unless you're a sociopath, then that's something different, right? And I know that there's some of you that are struggling with stuff, because I know I have been. Fear of disappointment, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, fear of being embarrassed, fear of failing, fear of being alone, maybe not being good enough, that fear of success, right? The fear of being judged, the fear of being wrong. Like, come on, don't tell me that you guys haven't felt any of those fears. Of course you have. Most people feel the exact same way you do. The thing is that we don't think they do, so we keep it to ourselves, right? And sometimes we feel like we're the only ones experiencing this internal struggle, and we're going through all of this pain and this struggle by ourselves, and we don't really realize that there are many people out there experience the same thing and can relate to it in the same way, or at least very similar. And we have to stop trying to act like we got this. You know what I'm saying? And I know that it's a lot of what's going on in social media can do two things. It can give you this really big fear of everything happening in the world, and you start to like really get consumed with all of this fear to almost paralyzation, right? And then you have this other thing where you're feeling of you're not good enough, you have imposter syndrome, the fear of missing out. All of that stuff is really real, right? And I find this very, very, very true with entrepreneurs and the leaders that I coach, right? They have fears because they don't truly want to talk about it, because if they do, there may be this false perception that this makes them look weak. It's wrong. It's not going to make you look weak if you're going through something that you're afraid of, right? Who told you that anyway? It's not true. I am sure that all these huge entrepreneurs and huge, change makers go through fear. Will this work? I don't know if this will. Will anybody like me? Who will show up? Will I be rejected? All of those things come in. It's how you deal with them, right? How you actually put in perspective what fear really is in your life at that moment. Now, if you're walking, like I always use this example, down a dark alley and you see some strange things going on, you should be afraid, because that fear is supposed to come in to protect you of your surroundings and make you aware of what's happening around you, and that can harm you. But when we start being afraid of change, or being afraid of starting something new, or being afraid of, moving to a new place and stuff like that, you have to sit down and really analyze if that fear is a universal truth in your life. Is that really true? Because it will paralyze you. You won't move forward as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a big thinker. You just will not move forward. And if you do, it'll be in small, tiny increments because of all of the fear that you're having. So for me, first things first, I have faith over fear as much as I can. I hit fear all the time, but I try to have my faith overcome that, right? I don't let the fear overcome my faith. I always try to put God first. And I say try because I don't always succeed, right? Because God is always greater than what you may be afraid of. He is always there to stand by your side. He's always there to help you face your fears and protect you in your weakest moments. A lot of times, though, I forget that. And then I just live in this fear, and I have to stop myself and analyze. What are you afraid of? Okay, so you may move to a new town. Okay, what do you do about that when you get there? Like, you really have to start changing the way you think, because some of these fears live within your imagination, and it is always so much worse in your imagination than it is in real life, right? So by actively finding the fear that you have and realize what it really is, then you can start to shift your thinking and start dismantling this fear that is stopping you from doing all of this amazing stuff you want to do, right? I'm going to give you some great NLP tools right now that I want you to use, because this is what's helped me a lot in my life, starting my own coaching business program, like really launching in things I want to do and shifting and moving all of this stuff in my life. And it's because of these questions I ask myself when I start to analyze that I'm afraid of something, right? So I don't want you to be a lazy thinker. Don't just accept every single emotion that comes your way. Just because you have an emotion, so what? We all have emotions, and a lot of them are bullshit, right? A lot of emotions we have are stopping us from amazing things, and then we just fall into the emotion because we want to be lazy thinkers and we don't want to actually do the work. I want you to analyze it and have your brain active, right? And put everything into perspective in your life, because you are a lot more amazing than you think you are. You can reach a lot further than you think you can. And if you're a lazy thinker, you're just going to sit there and allow all of these things to come and really steal what is your joy, what could be your, your your new thing, your new birthing experience of whatever it is you're trying to create. And so I need your brain to be activated, and you need to start doing that yourself, right? So I want you to ask yourself some fear questions. And if you have a pen and pad, write it down. I'll try to put them in the show notes. If I don't, email me at hello@straighttalknosugar@it.com, or go on to winject.com/register. Go ahead and register and get onto my community. Ask me there, because I'm always on there and I will answer them for you. Okay. So here are some fear questions, right? What specifically are you scared of? Because if you're going to tell me, oh, I'm afraid of starting a new business. Okay. That's a real thing. I'm sure you feel scared. Okay. But what specifically are you scared of when it comes to that? Right. Okay. Another one is, in what situation would that specific, you made, let's talk about starting a business. In what situation would that specifically occur? Like, why would you start this business? What is the reason for it, and why are you afraid of it? Right? Like, if you think of, oh, I started a business before and it failed, what happened in that situation? What time of day did that happen? What else happened that made you afraid? What else was involved in that? Maybe, like, for me, for a long time, it was the fear of being homeless, because I was homeless, right? And we lost a lot of things. And when we lost everything, I was really afraid. And so starting a business, and what? No, that's scary. What am I scared of? Why am I scared of it? What happened when that happened to me? And that stuff starts to really put your brain in a place where you can be very strategic about what you're thinking, right? What else can you understand about this fear? What do you want to know about it, right? So for me, again, being homeless, right? What can I understand? I don't want to be there anymore. So how do I prevent that? Well, maybe I build a strategy. Maybe I find myself a mentor. Maybe I find myself a coach, try to get the best team around me. Like, there are ways to get around this, right? It's really going to be very uncomfortable at first, because resisting fear is very uncomfortable, because your brain is not used to that. It is automatically going to try to make you safe. And in order to make you safe, it's going to send you signals of fear. And so fighting against that is not going to be easy, right? So you have to find what that fear really is. And I want you to vividly go to that place, embrace it, and fully accept what would happen if this fear became a reality. So what would happen if that business failed? What would happen if you did go homeless? What would happen? Right? And so go to that place. And the more that you embrace that fear in that place, the weaker the fear will get, because you've already experienced it in your thought process and you vividly embraced it already. Okay, so I'm homeless now. Whoo! What does that feel like? It is scary. Take a deep breath, be there for a moment. What does that mean? Okay, you invested all this money into this big business venture you were going for. It failed. What now? Right? You need to feel that, right? In reality, what would happen if you embraced it? What would really happen if that happened? What is the worst case scenario? I know you guys are probably like, really, Neen? This is how you're going to help me change fear? Yep. Because when you think of the worst case scenario, you can then work from the bottom and work your ass up to where it is you want to go, right? I was already homeless. I was homeless for a year and change, right? And so being homeless was hard as hell. It was hard as hell, especially for a person like me who is so freaking driven. It was super hard to do, but I did it. And it showed me that I can overcome a lot of obstacles. And I bet you that if you start to put yourself in situations that are really hard and you have to look at the worst case scenario, you're going to start to develop a strategy and a plan in the event that it may happen, right? We know the worst case scenario, and what is likely to happen. How would you face that fear to help you grow? How would you face that? So if you lost your business right now, or if you became homeless right now, how would you face that? What would you do? Right? And once you start to work your way through these questions, you're going to start to embrace this fear and realize, oh, okay, wait a second. I can actually do this. I'm going to be strategic about what I'm going to do, right? Hey, Lauren, welcome. I don't care if you're late. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. So now that you've asked yourself this question, you have found the fear, and therefore you understand all of the details of this fear. You embrace this fear and you accepted it as if it was a reality. I'm telling you guys, this works, right? Because then you start to go, okay, if this happens, I have this. If this happens, I do this. If this happens, I do. Now you're strategic. You're not being a lazy thinker. You're not just sitting by letting things happen the way they happen. Fear doesn't have to be paralyzing. Fear can actually give you really great strategies, right? It can really teach you things about life, about things, about situations, business, relationships, all of it. You need to take action to eliminate this fear completely, right? So what you do is, how do I intend to face this fear? How do I intend to face it? And when do I intend to face this fear? How will I know that I face this fear? So once you faced it, how do you know you've overcome it? How do you know that you've overcome this fear? Right? You have to check on yourself. Let yourself know that, yeah, you're feeling this and you're not alone. And you know what? When I go through shit, I reach out to people that I really admire, people that are my mentors, people that are my coaches. I reach out to them, my husband, my family. I reach out to them and say, listen, I'm struggling with this, right? So when I overcome those things, and when you overcome all of these little fears that are coming against you with starting your own business, starting that relationship, being with somebody. Hello, lovely styles. The thing is we you have to remember that these fears, once you've already done them in your mind, and it starts to come at you like, wow, I started my business, nobody showed up. That's okay. Strategize. You've already thought about this, right? And so then you check on yourself. Was this worth being scared of the whole time? I launched it. Boom, done. I launched it. Now it's just the next steps I got to go through, right? What will be easier next time? I tell you, if I went homeless right now, I know that me and my husband would strategize quickly and pivot and get on our feet real fast and be like, okay, what are we going to do? You're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, boom, 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 let's go, right? Because we can't sit in that anymore, because last time it threw us for a loop. It took the air out of our lungs, right? So we learned a lot about really hustling, but we did it, right? What will you tell yourself next time that you're feeling this fear? So next time you're afraid, to go on that camera, say, I already did this though. What am I afraid of? Right? I already lost all that weight. So why can't I do it now? I already tried a business venture. It didn't work, but I learned this and this and this. Let me try this. Right? So really check on yourself. Don't let it. I always think, every time I think of check yourself, I always say, don't let it wreck yourself. I don't know why I always got to end it that way. I'm aging myself. I know. But the truth is, the first thing I want you to think about is having that faith connection. Do find that. If you don't have a connection to God or faith, I encourage you to look for that. I encourage you to look for that, because that was something that was missing in my life for a very long time. And when I found it, it gave me this sense of security, even in the tough times, even when I was homeless, even when I was struggling. My faith really sustained me, right? And so I want you to face your fears, protect your weakest moments, protect you in your weakest moments, protect you in your weakest moments. Only you can do that. And so really stop letting your emotions be the answer to everything, because that's not true. It's not. You can't change reality. You can't change truth. Just because you feel something about something and you're passionate about it doesn't make it a universal truth, right? Just because you're afraid of something and you're really afraid of it does not make it a universal truth. Oh, amen and amen, right? Amen and amen. So I want you guys to stop being lazy thinkers. Be more strategic. Start analyzing things. Start looking at things the way that they are in reality. And if you can't see past all of your emotions, find somebody who can help you see past your emotions. And don't pick somebody who's just going to coddle you in your emotion. That does not work. Find somebody who you know is going to really push you into a different direction, because that then is going to help you move forward. If you start surrounding yourself with people that are just going to yes you to death, You are going to move nowhere. You need to have like-minded people, but strategic thinkers, people that are going to say to you, yeah, Neen, yeah, you're wrong about that because of A, B, C, D. You want to take a look at that? I am the first one to be like, really? I never thought about it that way. Let me check that out. I may at the end still not agree, but I'm not a lazy thinker. I'm not just going to accept whatever you throw my way. Right. And that's why I protect what I watch. I protect what I hear, because if I start to just dig into social media and dig into this regular media that we have and not really do my homework and think about what I'm thinking about, then I'm going to fail myself. And I got too many great things going on. And I am 50 now. I'm in the second part of my life. I can't be wasting time. Nobody can be wasting time. Time is your most precious commodity. Do something with it. Okay, stop being afraid of change. Stop being fearful of things in your life that are new. I need you to go ahead and think about that. Think about the questions I gave you. Think about the way to analyze your thinking and not just sit there and be afraid of things because they're new, because they're different, because you never saw it before. Of course, you never saw it before. Like somebody asked me, are you afraid of being a multimillionaire or something? I said, I'm not afraid of it, but I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that feels like. I can't judge it because I've never been there. Right. And so when I get there, amazing. I can't wait to get there. I am not there yet. I'm only at 6 figures. I'm not there yet. So we will see. We will see. Because your girl's planning on going there at least before she dies. Hopefully, God will give me enough time to get there. Right. I want to help as many people as possible. That is the point of being here. Right. Oh, thank you, lovely Styles. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you guys always for watching and commenting and downloading the episodes of the podcast. It is really helping me reach other people. It is helping me launch into new spaces. And I really, really love that. So please, if you haven't registered yet, it's completely free to be a part of my community. WINJECT.com/register. 100% free. Just go on there and register. Be a part of my community on there, because I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing. I'm building all this stuff in the background so I can really pour into my community on WINJECT. So please be a part of that. Okay. Thank you for being here with me. I love you to pieces. This is Neena Perez. Straight talk, no sugar added. Until next time.